Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today you're in for a treat because I'm going to show you how I built a brand new real estate team from scratch in 90 days. We already have 8 agents on, and yeah, you heard that. In 90 days I was able to bring 8 agents on to a team that did not exist 120 days ago. I'm going to show you exactly how I did that and what you need to do to grow your team. And I promise you this, even if you already have a team, you're going to get a lot of value out of this because I'm going to show you some tried and true principles that whether you're starting from scratch or you're already 80 agents deep, these things are going to help. So let's jump right into how to grow a team and some of the major things you need to be focused on. Just a reminder, my name is Isaac Guzman here with Real Estate CEOs, and I have for the better part of a decade grown teams, brokerages, and helped agents excel in real estate. And I'm here to help you do the same. If you ever have any questions, feel encouraged. Go ahead and go into the comments below, ask the question. Also, you can go into the description to book one-on-one time with me if you're ever interested in partnering up. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment on this video so that we're always giving you the best information and you can share it with other people. So jumping right in, first things, there's 3 major parts of what you want to do in a real estate team when you're building it, right? You want to attract or recruit agents. You want to be able to train and develop them. And then you also want to be able to retain and keep them as part of your organization for as long as it makes sense. So I'm going to break down those 3 areas real quickly. I'll tell you some basic principles and also what I did specifically to grow this team so quickly, and we're seeing lots of great results. So let's jump right in. First is going to be the attraction side or the retention side. So the first thing you want to figure out is like, okay, Isaac, where do I go for real estate agents? How do I attract more of them? Well, the first thing is you can absolutely cold call, and that's very much something I still do to this day. I cold call on a regular basis to try to attract agents to the team because I get a quick no. My cold calling, I love jumping into it, and the reason why is because it's super easy to just figure out who's not interested. There's plenty of people that might be interested, but they didn't answer. I want to know who's not interested. So I like doing a lot of cold calling. What my target demographic usually is anywhere from agents that are selling anywhere from 3 to about 12 houses a year in the last 12 months. Now, right now I'm shooting this video in 2024, which means based on stats, they're likely in lower production than they were before. So where they have sold 3 to maybe 12 houses the year before, they might be at 1 to 7. That's the reason why that'll change as the market adjusts, but that's what I'm targeting right now because those agents need a lot of help. And so the other things that I do is you can always go on things like Indeed or Wise Hire or ZipRecruiter to run ads. I'm a big believer in always having an ad up and running at all times that describes what our team does. Now, quick thing on ads. When you are writing a recruiting ad, it is a sales situation. It is a marketing situation. So do not write it like a typical job description. You write it like it's sales copy. You are selling that person on why they would want to click to apply and jump on a call with you. So use a marketer's help, whether it's your marketing department, you're using ChatGPT. Do not just simply go out there and write out the list of responsibilities and requirements for the people. Nope, you want to write it as sales copy. The other opportunity that you have and that you should take advantage of is leveraging trainings and masterminds. If you have a training, an ongoing training that you're part of, or you're going to be doing training at the MLS, or you already have a small team or a big team and you guys do trainings on a regular basis, this is an opportunity for you to open that up so that agents can experience what it's like to be part of your team, be coached by you in some way or another. And it's a great place for them to have that experience with very little strings attached, very little pressure. So make sure you're leveraging that. Lastly, one of the other sources you can use are vendors. You know, most real estate agents do not turn around and vent to their competing broker or to the competing team leader in their marketplace about the challenges that they're facing in their personal business or with their team leader or broker. You know who they do vent to? They're vendors. Title reps, mortgage, escrow, right? Those people are the people that are constantly interacting with them, are concerned about their business, and they will vent to them. So why not leverage the people that you're working with to say, hey, when you hear that, here's what I would like you to do is introduce them to me. So those are some of the basic sources of lead generation for recruiting real estate agents. But the other things you can do is if your state publishes like a new licensee list or people that just joined the board, you can do things like direct mail. What we also do is we look them up and scrape the data for message sending them on LinkedIn. These are things that we do at a higher level. There's plenty of other things that we can do, but this is the stuff that you can just get started. It doesn't take a long time. You don't have to invest a lot of money when you're just making cold calls, putting up an ad, reaching out to vendors, opening up your training sources, and all these other things. I'll go into more specifics on future videos on maybe one specific way I was able to generate leads, especially the LinkedIn solution. That's one that we've had dialed in for quite some time, and it worked marvelously to grow the team. So what I did to grow the team is made some cold calls and ran my LinkedIn solution on new licensees. And then in addition to that, obviously opening up trainings and masterminds, that makes it really simple to identify who's focused on growing, and they also start seeing me as an authority in the marketplace. So those are some ways to do that. So now that we know how to source these types of leads, the things that we need to figure out is what's our value proposition, what's the pitch. And so you need to have a unique selling proposition. And although you might think that it's, hey, because I'll train you really well, and it's because we're number one and we have all these statistics, those things help supplement it. But what you have to realize is this, that your unique selling proposition has to have a really clear message as to how you help agents consistently, predictably, and reliably generate opportunity flow. They don't really care about your stats. They don't care how many leads you generate, so long as they understand how that turns and translates into consistent, predictable, reliable opportunity flow for them, because that's what they really care about, is that predictability and income. That's one of the major things. Now, there's lots of other things that go into it. There's culture and there's mentoring and all these other things. Those are amazing and absolutely necessary. But in reality, what most agents are looking for, in my experience, is, can you help me generate opportunities on a consistent, predictable, and reliable basis? Now, here's what you might have heard. Give them leads. That is certainly one way to do that. Hey, I have a bunch of leads. I'm on Zillow Flex. I have these other leads coming in. I take a lot of listings. You can work my buyers. Okay, fantastic. That is one way you can absolutely help satisfy that need and scratch that itch that the agent's looking for. What some people don't realize is, if you have a proven method for generating business that you have structured out, you have written out, it's something where you provide them with the tools and the training to be able to perform the exact same method to get some predictable results, that is just as good and oftentimes even better than leads. So let's say you're a master at converting for sale by owners into listings. You have a proven process, you know the opening script, you have email drip campaigns, you have the presentation set up the right way that you connect with them and the way you roll that out is consistent, predictable, and reliable if they're willing to put in the work. That is a good method. And so those are the things that people really have to focus on. So do you have the ability to help them consistently, predictably, and reliably, we call it CPR, generate business? Because if you do, you have a great value proposition. Doesn't matter about a lot of other things. A lot of the other things will come into play, but consistent income is going to help kind of bridge the gap between what you don't have. Maybe you don't have the best marketing assistant. Maybe you don't have the best process for how you track leads and CRM and stuff like that, right? Like those types of things, you can get away with improving those over time if you have a good method for generating business or you have leads that you can hand out. So those are the ways that you can identify talent. And here's the thing, you might be thinking, Isaac, but I only really want to work with this one type of person or whatever that is. Totally fine with that. That doesn't mean you're going to hire every single person that you reach out to, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm really picky about the type of people I bring on my team. Well, so am I. But in order to find them, I need to let everybody know. So here's the phrase you should adopt. I'm not going to hire everyone, but everyone should know I'm hiring. And then you have that value proposition where you're able to then pitch it. Okay, so now let's say you've perfected your pitch. You understand the problems of real estate agents and you have solutions for those problems. Well, fantastic. Now they're ready to sign and onboard. Onboarding, people think of it in two different ways. Some people say onboarding is just the paperwork. Other people consider it the entire onboarding and training program. When I mention that right now, I'll use those terms interchangeably, but what I'm talking about is how you bring them on board and how you train them into your systems. So there's a couple key things. This is where I disagree with a really popular notion that you should have something called a 30-60-90 plan. I don't believe in that. The reason why is because it's a two-way street. When you expect them And I've seen a lot of people run into this, myself included. When you expect them to hit a 30-day milestone and a 60-day milestone and a 90-day milestone, the problem is you also, if you have integrity, you have to wait until the 30th day or the 60th day or the 90th day to drop the hammer. So that's a challenge, because what if someone's screwing around on day 13, well, and you don't have your check-in until day 30, and they have this window of time to get these things done and check off the items on your checklist? Well, then you don't really have any place to step in on day 13 and be like, hey, you got to go. They might turn around and go, well, I thought I had until the 30th day. So here's what I've decided and what I've rolled out and what works in my past team and in the current team. Daily milestones for the first week, weekly milestones for the next 8 weeks. So we have a 9-week training program. Every single day, though, they have a milestone on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because they start on a Monday. And then from there, in this second week, we have milestones on those days as well. And then the ensuing 7 weeks after that, they have weekly milestones. So here's what that looks like. If someone doesn't hit their milestone on day 3, that's okay. We're just going to part ways. And that's the easiest way to protect your culture. You think by screening people with all these personality assessments and all that stuff and group interviews is actually going to screen them for culture and protect your culture? It's not. There's still going to be people that get in that aren't the right fit. There's going to be people who are bad at group interviews, or there's one random person on your team that says, I don't like that person, when they would have been a rock star and a positive contributor to the culture of the team. You're going to miss out. Let your training program do the screening for you. Okay, so you might be thinking, all right, Isaac, great. I'm going to go ahead and set some milestones on a daily and weekly basis. What am I training on, right? There's 3 principles of productivity that you need to be training on. You need to make sure you're hitting all of these. So number 1, activity. What kind of activities should they be doing on an ongoing basis as it relates to generating opportunities and servicing the opportunities that they surface, right? So, hey, we need to be doing role play. We need to actually be taking action on lead generation. So here's what we do. When we bring an agent on, say, hey, welcome, day 1, it's getting to know stuff, logging in systems, finalizing any paperwork, whatever that might be. Day 2, we actually hand them some leads and we say, hey, here's the lead management process. I want you to process these 5 leads. You're going to call them twice if they don't answer on the first one. You're going to drop a voicemail. You're going to shoot out this text message. We already have it written for you. Then you're going to send out this email, and then you're going to go and double check to make sure they have a saved search set up. If they don't have a saved search set up, you're going to set it up for them, or a market update if they're a seller. And you're going to do that on these 5 leads today, and tomorrow you will do something similar on these 5 leads. Day 2, we give them 5 more, and they do day 1 processes, right? Everything I just described. And then they go back and call the leads from the day before. That happens again on day 3 and day 4. So that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So by the end of that, they now have 16 leads that they should be working in various stages. Now, hopefully some of those leads will turn into real conversations, and we'll start coaching them on how to have those conversations. And so in essence, what we do is every single day we go, did you do what we asked you to do? On day 1, did you reach out to all 5 of those contacts and do all of the things, ask relevant questions, right? And on day 2, did you reach out to your new 5 and also try to reach out to the other 5 from yesterday that didn't answer? Right? We inspect that every day. The reason we do that is because we want them, 1, to become familiar with how to use the tools, 2, start building a pipeline immediately when they start joining the team, and 3, it's the best way to get them into real estate related conversations. Will they be out of their depth? Will they be uncomfortable? Will they also sometimes go, this is not what I signed up for? Absolutely, and that's part of the magic. We're using this system to screen people out that will or will not make it inside of our system. Because ultimately, the number 1 thing is you want to get them to build a pipeline so that they can get into production. You want to have a production prediction milestone as well. Ours used to be, hey, within your first 30 days, you should have at least X, right? First appointment or a contract or whatever. Then as the market started getting a little bit tougher mid-2022, we used to have you're going to have your first escrow or closing within your first 90 days. Well, now we had to stretch out to 120 because there's less deals to go around, which means there's fewer and further in between. So we got to allow for that grace. So that's an important thing that you got to be crystal clear on when you're reaching out to people, when you're interviewing, when you're in the recruiting process, when you're in the onboarding processes. Be really clear as to your expectations of what it is that people are going to be doing on a regular basis and what your expectations are for results and time commitment. Here's something really important to really think about, okay, before I jump into retention. People that join your team are not like you. You need to get over that. People are not going to work the same way that you work. They're not going to be as good as you are or as diligent as you are. Back in my day, I used to knock 30 doors a day every single day before breakfast. Like those types of things, it's awesome that you do that. That's what made you successful. That's what put you in a position to be able to build a team in the first place. They are not going to be the same. They need to be giving these little milestones, these steps, so that they can build their skill set and so that they can also start building their confidence. So first section is activity. The next one is what I alluded to in just a second ago, skill set. Okay, we always make sure that we are developing their skill set. Now, one of the great parts about doing a lot of activity is your skill set gets better when you're getting in more repetitions. But you also need specific training. That's scripting training, and that's also how to have conversion-based conversations, right? How to move people along. Giving them a formulaic approach to that is going to be crucial. So if you wing it on most conversations, sorry, but you're going to have to figure out what those key components of what your magic is. You need to be able to bottle your magic up. If you're a fantastic natural salesperson, sorry, but that's not going to be everybody that joins your organization. And as a matter of fact, I don't know that that's necessarily necessary for you, for every single person to succeed. What you want to do is figure out what is it that I do really well and what's the formula behind it that I can pass on to other people. So make sure that when you're developing skill set that it's a very formulaic approach that can be repeated by someone who has the desire and the passion to become great at sales, and then give them a system they can follow. Lastly is processes. You got to train them and develop them on activities, on their skill set, and on learning processes. When you book an appointment, here's the buttons you click. Here's the email that sends out. Here's how you prepare your pre-listing packet. Here's how you show up to the appointment. Here's what you do after that for follow-up. Here's how you status this type of lead. Here's how you enter the listing into the system so the listing manager can run it from there and order photography and build a single property website. Those are all things that are process-oriented that are going to help you stay out of the weeds and help them focus on money-making activities. So you have to make sure that you have the process dialed in and teach them the importance of the process and expose them to it and give them repetition, right? That's usually in the form of an SOP, some video, some online training program. Maybe you're using Trainual or Teachable or Thinkific to build out a video database or a knowledge base where they can go back and review that, so that way you don't have to turn around and show them click by click every single time. I think there's value in doing that once or twice, but as they scale up, as you scale your business, as they get further in the business, using a video backup system is going to be crucial. Again, I do not believe that video should be your primary training, but I do believe that every single thing you train on needs to have a video archived somewhere where they can go back and review that instead of using all of everybody else's time to remind them of something they've already done. Now here's the other thing. Don't expect them to get it the first time. Have patience, have grace, and build a video backup system for the knowledge base. All right, so getting into that last piece, which is retention, keeping the people there. There's some critical parts there. First thing, number one retaining solution, make money. When people make money, they stop focusing on these little tiny things. When people are not making money, should I say, that's when they start nitpicking. Well, I don't really like the way this training runs, and I don't like the way the website looks, and my bio is off, and I want new headshots, and I think my split is... These are the things that create tension, but almost all the time when that stuff starts rearing its head, I can look back and say, yeah, you probably saw a big decrease in income. Now, it might not be your fault as the team leader that their production dropped. Maybe they just checked out for a while. But the point is, you got to understand that when people are making money, your retention is higher, and when they're not, it's lower. It's just the reality of it. So make sure that people are actually making money in their real estate transactions. In addition to that, another retention tip is you need to acknowledge and recognize people for when they do the right things, whether it's production, whether it's doing the right thing on how they process the lead, whatever it is. When you acknowledge and spotlight your people, that makes them feel good and makes them understand that you're vested in their success. So things like Facebook posts where they don't know about it, it's not them bragging about themselves, it's you bragging and highlighting them on your Facebook page and tagging them. Grab a Facebook picture from their Facebook page and say, I'm just so amazed by this person, they were able to do this, and highlight whatever things that they're doing to stand out. And will they mostly be production focused? Yeah, if they're crushing it. But there's also things when they're doing things like giving in their community, right? They posted a picture of the food drive that they were doing. You guys went out and built Habitat for Humanity, whatever it is. Highlight the other people, right? So that way their audience is going to like and comment on that, and they're going to feel good about it, because most real estate agents don't like bragging about themselves. They want to be highlighted. Now, the other thing you want to think about in retention is path. What is the path to my next step? Am I going from a showing agent to a buyer's agent to a listing agent to a full-blown general agent that maybe has agents working underneath me? Well, you might have that vision. You need to let them know. Let people in on the vision that you have for anybody who succeeds at the highest level. Because if there's no path to the next thing, sometimes people get aimless. Human beings are purpose-driven beings. We always want a target. We want to hit a target, and we need to have a purpose. So when you provide a clear path to the next thing in their career, they tend to stay a lot longer. And when you talk about path, there's really three things that I've identified as the path, right? It's the path to more money, it's selling more real estate, doing things like that. It's the path to leverage, which is more time, right? So, hey, if you hit this certain amount of production or a certain amount of years or whatever it might be, we're going to help you with a virtual assistant to help you manage your inbox or manage your social media, or you'll have your own personal assistant, right? And maybe there's a situation where you can afford to do that based on their production and the splits. We'll have an ISA that books appointments just for you, right? Those things that save them time are massive. And so you want to invest in that and let them know, hey, there's a path to more time, more access. Maybe we'll hire showing agents for you. I gave you a bunch of ideas there, but you get the point. More leverage equals more time. In addition to that, additional streams of income. So when I mentioned money earlier, what I was referencing is more sales, higher splits, whatever that might look like. The path to more money in their day-to-day real estate transactions is awesome. Leverage is awesome. But what about additional streams of income? Things like, hey, we'll flip houses together. We'll buy some rentals together. Maybe we'll open up a title or escrow or mortgage, or maybe you're at a company like LPT where they offer revenue share, and you're going to help them build out their revenue share group and earn passive income that way, or help identify rentals in another state. Whatever that looks like, when you can help people identify additional streams of income, your business and their relationship with you becomes a lot more sticky, and they're more inclined to stay, because not everybody wants to sell more real estate who wants to make a lot more money, right? If somebody wants to make a lot more money, they don't necessarily always think of that in terms of how many more houses can I sell. They might turn around and go, well, should I start an Amazon drop shipping company or whatever it is? Well, why don't you provide access to that? If you have additional streams of income that you either have in place or are planning on putting in place, bring other people along for the ride. Lastly, when it comes to retention, here's the thing. Nobody retains 100% of people. It's not going to happen. Don't bank on it. People will absolutely leave you. So there's two solutions that you have to that. One is you can be okay with it. And this is not an option. You have to be okay with it. You have to treat them with dignity and grace on their way they exit. You also have to perform an exit interview so you can figure out, are there things that would have kept them that will keep other people in the future that you can implement. And then in addition to that, you need to, in my opinion, this is something that you definitely have to consider. Are you working at a brokerage platform that still rewards you for having trained that person even after they leave your team? So here's what I mean. At LPT, if somebody leaves the team, they can still remain at LPT, and I still have a vested financial interest in seeing them grow because of revenue share. And so that's another thing too for teams is, hey, are you tired of training up and recruiting agents and building them up and helping them and building their client database, right? And then ultimately you just leave and you never ever get paid back for any of those things. Well, that's just part of the game. But what if there's a world in which, hey, when that person leaves, as long as you're on a good brokerage platform that provides revenue share, you can still continue to have that partnership with them. I know they will benefit from it, and so will you financially. So this is a really important thing to think about too, is plan for offboarding, plan for people leaving. What does that look like? Is it just goodbye, or is it awesome, you're making this transition off the team, but you're going to remain on the brokerage platform and a partner with me, so I'm still going to continue to see opportunity with us being partners, and actually there's an incentive for me to help you. That's huge. As a matter of fact, that could even be one of the paths that you talk about. Certainly is on our team. So hopefully you got some value out of what I brought you, and just so you know, I am absolutely growing this team every single day. If you're in the San Diego market, in Southern California in general, but specifically in San Diego, and you're watching this video, please reach out to me. I'm happy to share with you what our team does that is different, how we provide consistent, predictable, reliable opportunity flow, and how we help promote our agents to a place where they are running their own business and We actually plan for you to take a step out of our team, still be inside of our ecosystem where we can help train and support you, but ultimately graduate off the team so you're running your own business. That's what we do. And so this is a call to action for anybody in San Diego looking for that, or anybody who's interested in maybe partnering with us in other parts of California where we can expand with you. This is that call. Jump in the description below and learn a little bit more about me, and also book some one-on-one time with me. Now, if you're watching this video and you're in another part and you want to build a team and want to know how I can help you and partner with you here at Real Estate CEOs, go ahead, go in the description, click that very same link and book some one-on-one time with me. I'll help you start scaling your team. Also, if you're just watching this and you're like, I don't know if I want to join a team, start a team, whatever, I don't even know what that would entail. Awesome. You are welcome to partner with me in a bunch of different ways. I help individual agents scale their businesses, and I also help people get started with video. So if any of those things make sense, just know that I'm here to partner with you. So jump in the description below. Excited to meet with you. And until next time, happy selling.